and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing one of my most anticipated books of this entire year, Earth Called by Kristin Cast. If you guys haven't heard of the Tales of a New World series by Kristin Cast is the co-author of the House of Night series, a series that most of you guys might have already heard of. And she basically wrote another series called Tales of a New World, which all started and kicked off with Moon Chosen. Now, I don't remember exactly when this book came out, but I think it might have been around 2013, 2014, 2012, around that time. And she wrote 3 books in the series: Moon Chosen, Sun Warrior, and then the 3rd book in the series was called Wind Rider, which came out back in 2018. Kristin Cast then afterwards had a writing accident, which basically stopped her from being able to continue and finish the Tales of New World series, which she had been planning on doing for a really long time. I think the series, or the last book, was pushed back a few years because I think the publishing company wasn't sure whether they wanted to publish her. She then decided to start self-publishing it, and then I think eventually it got picked up by Macmillan Publishing House, and basically she then finally brought out the last book in the series, Earth Called, this year in 2023. So if you are anything like me and have been following the series since it came out, which I have been doing, I have basically been waiting for this 4th and final installment forever. I was actually like convinced that it was never gonna happen, or that maybe it would come out like really far in the future, but finally Kristin Cast has finally been able to publish Earth Called, and it was an amazing finale and last book in the series. If you guys haven't heard of the Tales of New World series, then I will quickly give you a very short summary and then let you know when spoilers are going to come out of the last book. So basically the series starts with the first book called Moon Chosen and introduces us to our protagonist Marie, who is a part of the Earth Walker clan. They are basically a group of people who worship the Great Earth Mother and who basically have moon women who are chosen to have the power to draw down the magic of the moon and be able to wash or heal the clan of their disease that they have been infected with. So I think the series is sort of set in a kind of post-apocalyptic world, even though it is not alluded to very much. I think there are a couple of hints here and there that the series actually takes place after a sort of worldwide destruction that was brought about by humans and their selfishness and their like love for technology and like all things modern, that they like forgot about the world. And I think the sort of the lore behind it is that Mother Earth or whatever was really pissed off about this, that they decided to disrespect her, disrespect like the ways of the world and nature and all of that. And so basically I think most of humanity was wiped out, and from that came a few small groups of people, and also this sort of magical bond between humans and animals started to evolve. I'm not entirely sure about all of the mechanics of it, but basically in this world, humans and animals, or companions as they call them, have a sort of psychic link, or can have a psychic link if they are chosen by their animal. So you have the tribe of the trees, who have canines or dogs as their companions. Then you also have the lynx people, have lynxes, or what we would assume to be like a big cat, as their companions. Then there are the wind riders, who have horses, and I think there are also whale singers, who I think have whales, and I think also like birds or something. There's like a few groups of people that I think PC has named in her books as having like an intimate, strong psychic connection with specific animals. Now, Marie is part of the Earth Walker clan. I don't think they don't have any companions in their clan. They just have the moon magic that they have been given to them by the great goddess to be able to heal themselves of their disease. They also have a very strong hatred towards the tribe of the trees, who are the ones that have bonds with canines or dogs, namely that the tribe of the trees have been enslaving their people under the false assumption that the people, while being infected and under the effects of the disease, are actually people that don't really have very much intelligence or free will. So they think that they're basically just like animals, because basically the Earthwalkers, when they are infected or under the curse of this disease, I guess they have a limited intelligence, limited cognitive abilities, because they're the women get really depressed and the men get really aggressive. And so the tribe of the trees decided to exploit this and have basically enslaved, captured Earthwalkers for I think a lot of years. There is a lot of hatred between the two of them, understandably of course, on the part of the Earthwalkers, as their people have been enslaved. And basically, as we are introduced to our protagonist Marie, we learn that she has a secret, namely that Marie is actually half Earthwalker, and her father was actually part of the other tribe that the Earthwalkers really hate, and her mother's been basically hiding the secret from her, well, not from her, but from the clan since she was born. Marie hasn't been able to really talk about this. And basically the book kicks off with Marie finding this man named Nick, or this boy named Nick, who is part of the Tribe of the Trees, who has been injured, and Marie then needs to decide whether she wants to heal him and basically put aside all of the bigotry and hatred between the clan and the tribe, or whether she wants to rescue him. And basically this book is about Marie learning to find herself, you know, the way that the relationship between the clan and the tribe begins to evolve. Marie also learning about certain magical abilities that she has, and obviously this book series, as all of the book series that PC Cast has written so far, are very full of magic, are very female-based, has a very strong feminist foundation to it, and also has a large tone of spirituality, which I always really appreciate, and just makes the whole series really fun. But I would highly recommend the books. They are all equally amazing. I think each of them has lots of things that makes them unique. Yeah, so if you guys haven't read the book or don't want to get spoiled for the first 3 books in the series, then please click away and then come back later. So I'm going to give a very, very short non-spoiler review of this book for people that have read up until the 3rd book but haven't read the 4th one yet, which is that namely that this book was just really amazing. I really, really loved it. The book basically kicks off where the 3rd book left off, which is where the pack, the Tribe of the Trees and the clan together have managed to get to the Wind Rider Plains, and they've basically been able to find them. Dove, the seer of the group, has been chosen by Tulpar, the horse, and basically it's about how the two groups integrate with each other. The god Death is still hot on their trail. He has kidnapped the storyteller Relina, and basically it's just about how they want to defeat Death. What happens? I thought that Earth Called was an amazing book. I really loved the character development of all of the characters. I thought that the characters had a really great development in their stories. And yeah, overall the ending was just really heartwarming, really emotional, a bit bittersweet. I won't really say anything about it because I'm not going to spoil anyone. I do have a few small criticisms which don't detract from my love for the book, but are just sort of small things that, yeah, it just like bothered me a tiny bit, but didn't like overall make me like the book any less, which is namely that, first of all, I think that the book did focus a tiny bit too much on the story of Death and Thaddeus and Relina. I did think that her story was really interesting, how her story progressed. I do, however, wish that the story would have focused maybe a teeny tiny a little bit more on the pack and Marie and River. I do think that the book was split pretty much, I think about 50-50 between Marie, the pack, and the other people, and Relina and Death. And I kind of just feel like it was a bit too heavy on Death's side. It was a lot of sort of repetitiveness. Death was always kind of like doing the same things, being the same sort of annoying person or god. And yeah, I think that that was just sort of a bit too much for me, but other than that, I did really love the book. You know, so the book itself didn't feel too long for me, which is also maybe like a tiny bit of different criticism. I feel like the middle part, the beginning and middle part of it was quite slow paced, and then towards the end, I feel like things really sped up. And it would have been nice if maybe like the beginning part would have just been held like a tiny bit shorter, and that PC might have just stretched out the end part a bit more. I feel like there could have been a bit more emphasis on the emotions that Marie went through, you know, how the final battle went down and all of that stuff. Just keep that in mind while you're reading it. I do think the book itself was still really amazing. I wouldn't say it was like too rushed at the end, but more just that I think it could have been like even better if it was just stretched out a tiny bit more. So I think other than that, it was a perfect conclusion to the Tales of a New World series. I think that everything in the book sort of melded together to like a perfect ending, and I hope that you guys who haven't read it yet or have read it, I hope that you guys enjoy it too, or have enjoyed it too, just as much as I have. I will now get into the spoiler section of this review, so if you haven't read Earth Called yet, or if you don't want to get spoiled, then click away and then come back again once you've read it. Earth Called was, it was a roller coaster of emotions for me. I think that there's not really that much to talk about the middle and the beginning part, but I do really want to talk about the ending, and I also really want to talk about Dove and River together, because they basically end up being a couple, which to me was actually like really surprising, because I was always under the impression that River was actually asexual or aromantic. I wasn't sure exactly what her sexual orientation was, but I was actually surprised. I was actually really surprised to see her ending up with Dove. I always thought that Dove was going to end up with Lily, or maybe also be, you know, a single gal in the end, but I was really, really pleasantly surprised. There was that scene with the two of them in the, I don't know if it was like the bath or the river where they were like bathing together. I thought that was really cute, really romantic, and it was really, really nice to see, yeah, another lesbian couple in the series, because as you guys remember from, I think the first or second book, there was that couple. Was it Sheena and Crystal? I don't really remember their names too well, but they were sort of taken apart, which really saddened me. So it was really nice to see another LGBT couple in the series, which made me really happy. And obviously Dove and River obviously deserve the world. I was really happy also with Sora and O'Brien. I thought they were really cute together. Although I would have been happy also with Sora ending up just by herself. I think she was a really strong, amazing personality, a very big sort of feminist icon, really strong, stands up for herself, doesn't take no for an answer, is really like feminist in her beliefs. I really love Sora. I think she ended up being one of my favorite characters. I think her and Dove were probably my two favorite characters of the whole series. And also Relina, like how strong she was getting away from death. I thought that was amazing. I do think that, as I said before, it kind of dragged on a bit too long, her escape story. I feel like it just like went from pages to pages to pages, but like explaining how she ran away with Doe, Spirit guiding her. So I feel like that could have just been kept a tiny bit shorter, but I do really admire her courage, her strength, her endurance. And I want to talk about one more small thing that I don't think really like bothered me too much. It was more just something that I wanted to discuss with people. I know that PC Cast books have always been very heavy on the matriarchal side, which obviously I respect because we've had too much patriarchy in this world for my comfort, and it's really nice to see the tables turned for change and see women being power. But I do want to issue just like a teeny tiny criticism from my part, which is that I do feel like the book, especially when the mayor council gets together and criticizes Clayton, which obviously is like totally justified. I felt like Clayton was a terrible person. He was really sexist, really bigoted, just like a horrible person who like doesn't listen to people who are wise. But I do feel like this book sort of leaned more towards the idea that like men should never be in charge or should never be in power. It's like it sort of gave the impression that like matriarchy is always better than, I guess, equality, which is just something that I personally don't agree with. I think that in a perfect world, men and women would be equal. They would both rule together. What I also really liked about this book was how it handled Clayton's disobedience, his like unruliness towards the herd. I think that the book really perfectly sort of described his kind of conflicting emotions, his like passion for power, and then also in the end his ultimate like regret and sort of self-sacrifice to send his horse away. I thought that was really amazingly done. I'm really happy that in a way he got his like redemption, even though he didn't like escape the consequences of his actions, because he did, like, from the herd's perspective, deserve to die. But I do like, I'm happy that he got his redemption. And then we have to talk about the ending, because I was really like, I was thinking about this when I was reading the book, and I did like eventually get the idea that like, okay, Marie has to be the one who like takes the place for the goddess of life to come and fill her. So when the group of people got together and they decided that they were going to use the idol that was carved from the earth to get the goddess of life to resurrect or to awaken, I was like, oh, this is like a perfect idea. I don't want Marie to die. Then eventually I was like, wait a minute, like I feel like it couldn't be that easy. I feel like there has to be more to the story than just awakening within like an idol. And so when Marie then finally went to sacrifice herself, I was just like so sad, because I was really, really sad that the protagonist that we have come to know and love so much would decide to then die for her friends, which is obviously something that she would do. It's completely in line with her character. I thought it was just so amazing of her, so brave, so powerful for her to decide to sacrifice herself. And I was just so, so happy that in the end she didn't have to, and that the goddess did actually find a way to bring her back to life, which was really nice. So I'm just really glad that didn't have to happen. So overall, I felt this book was really amazing. I had a lot of fun reading it. As I said before, I think the book could have been a teeny tiny bit shorter at the beginning and a bit longer in the end. Other than that, the book was amazing. I'm really, really happy that PC Cast has finally been able to finish the series that is, I know, very near and dear to her heart, and very near and dear to all of us as well. So I'm just like really happy that we finally have the complete series. I can go and reread it again in the future. I'm really excited to see what else she brings out in the future. I know that her second book in the Into the Mist series is also debuting, I think, in August, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm very excited to read that as well. Other than that, I would be really interested to hearing you guys' thoughts about this book. Have you guys read Earth Called? What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you liked it or disliked it, or what you guys did like or dislike. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching my review of Earth Called. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed my content. I hope that you guys have a great morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you guys are in the world, and I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye!